Well, howdy friends, Brian Flechsig of Mad River Outfitters in the Midwest Fly Fishing Schools, and welcome back to another one of our fly fishing tutorials. We've had a lot of questions from folks recently on how you swap out a fly line. Say when you're on the water, on a boat, or just swapping out lines at home when you're gearing up for a trip. And then a lot of folks have had questions as to why a fly line has a loop on the back end. We all know about loops on the front ends. I typically cut those off as we've been taught over the years.
Cut your loops.
Some folks do, some folks don't. But why is there a loop on the back end of the fly line? A lot of folks have asked me if I also recommend we cut this off. Well, in general, no. I do a lot of swapping of lines, as does, say, a lot of our guides, Pat Kelly, Ryan Ratliff, Katie Johnstone. We're swapping out lines all the time for different scenarios, especially when I'm out on my big boat, on my Ranger, fishing lakes. I may swap out lines 2 or 3 different times during a given day. I might not have all those reels rigged up, so I'm gonna carry fly lines with me on the boat. And then also this is how we store them, say at home. I've got way more fly lines than I do reels. And so you have to have a place to store them. So this is the Omni Spool switch box. We've shown you these before. They come with a crank and you can get the whole kits, but and or if you buy a fly line and it comes on the spool that they come on, and you want to put this on your reel. If it's say a 5-weight or under, a lot of times I will cut this loop off and I'll just nail knot the backing on there. And you can use the tie fast knot tire or just a nail knot. Because let's face it, a trout or a panfish that you're going to be fishing for with a 4-weight is not going to run you to your backing in the first place. And even if he does, that knot should be sufficient. And also, not to mention, on my 4-weight, I primarily fish a floating line, and I'm never swapping the lines, okay? But on my 6-weight, 7-weight, 8-weight, 9-weight, 10-weight, et cetera, I might need to swap out lines. Sometimes I need a floating line, sometimes I need an intermediate, a sink tip, a full sink. And so the way we do this is we tie a Bimini twist in the backing, creating this large loop, okay? It's theoretically a Bimini loop, but this is the Bimini twist knot, okay? So we leave this loop on the back end of the fly line, and now you can easily, and again, I'll have to put these on. Didn't expect that. What do you think, Flip?
Way to go, Brian. You did it.
Yeah. I agree. So you've got your Bimini loop and you've got your loop in the backing. It's really simple. You just come through with the backing through the loop in the fly line, and then you're going to go take the loop over top of the spool. So the loop has to be big enough. And then what we do is make a twist. Just twist one time around and then you go over again. Okay, and now the trick is when you're now tightening this up, make sure that both legs of that Bimini loop are even, that they're both taut. You don't want one taut and one loose, okay? That's not going to create that, that's not going to give you the added strength of having this doubled up, okay? That's not going to be good. So by making that twist like I did and going through a second time, you'll see that makes the connection point at 4 places on the fly line instead of just 2. If you go through just once, you're just going to have that loop to loop. You're going to have those 2 connection points, and all that weight, should you get into your backing and have a fish pulling on this connection, okay? If you just go through once, those 2 connection points of the backing touching the fly line could cause some wear and tear on this loop, and it could cause that to break. But by going through that second time, so let me show you that again, and then to undo it, it's really simple. You just loosen that up, and then we're just gonna reverse that process. And I'll come get the fat part of the knot through there. So I just go through once, and then give it one more through, and then you're all set to go. And you spool this up and put it away and put the new line on. So again, I come through, and it's good to make sure these two legs of the loop are even. So I come through once, and then I go over top the spool and bring the spool through the loop. And then I just give it one twist and then come through again. And that way you get those 4 connection points where the backing is pulling on the fly line there, and it makes for a much stronger, much more reliable, much more durable connection, okay? And this will go through your guides without much trouble, and just makes it so that every time that you, first and foremost, the nail knot to the fly line is just not reliable. In fact, hold on one second. Friends, here with my dear friend Flip Pallet, of course, and we have a major announcement. We are reintroducing Flip Pallet's special delivery fly line treatment. Flip, tell us a little bit about this.
It's a secret formula passed down to me from my grandparents from Russia, and we've decided to share it with you once again. We tried it years ago. It was a great success. It slipped away sometime before COVID, so here it is back again. It's one of the easiest ways to dress your fly line. It's just a little spray bottle with the secret juice in it, and you spray it on your line while the line is still on the reel. If you want to clean your line, you spray the line while it's on the reel, pull your line through a little piece of terry cloth or a cleaner, and it cleans your line as well. I suspect it would be a good dry fly floatant. We're going to find out.
Let's hop in this thing and let's show them how this works.
Here we go.
Okay, so again, just nail knotting the backing to the rear end of the fly line, if you don't have a loop there, is fine for a 4-weight, 3-weight, 2-weight, 5-weight, say for trout fishing or even smallmouth fishing. That's fine, okay? You're probably never gonna see this, and then even if you do, okay, that fish is probably not gonna pull hard enough to cause any trouble there. But if you're fighting a big fish, steelhead, salmon, pike, muskie, saltwater game fish, you do not want to trust this connection. This Bimini loop to the loop on the fly line is much stronger. Watch this. You don't want to trust that connection if you got a big fish on the end of the line, okay? So again, it's fine. And if you don't have a loop in the end of your fly line for some odd reason, most of your good lines that you're going to be using for big game anyway will have it. But if you don't have a loop, you can whip a loop. In fact, we've got a video on how to whip a loop in the end of your fly line. The link is right here, and if you can't see it there, it's down in the description below me. But how to whip a loop in the back end of your fly line. Not a fan of loops on the front end of your fly line, as you all probably well know. But if you don't have one, you can make one in the back end and do this Bimini connection. And I don't think we've shown you the Bimini knot, but we're going to, so stay tuned. So again, don't ever trust that nail knot connection for, say, 5-weight and above, 6-weight. And then as an added bonus, you can easily swap out fly lines without having to tie a knot every time, and especially if you do it out in the field. So really simple. Come through once, over the spool, make one twist, go over the spool again, tighten her up. Just make sure both legs of that Bimini loop are even, okay? And there you go. Easy. You can take fly lines off, you can put fly lines on in the comfort of your own home on the stream bank or out on the boat. It's really easy. So as always, friends, thanks for watching. We appreciate you being here. Be sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss an episode. Hit the like button, that just makes us feel good. And be sure to watch this video here, and then stay tuned because we've got a lot more fly fishing content coming your way.